How many times have you been feeling this inner fear of doing something you like, or even trying to avoid many things you always wished you can do? Well, that fear might be a result of your anxiety. Hello everyone, I am Marwan. Welcome to my channel Inspired Humanity. Today we're going to discuss what is anxiety, how anxiety can be beneficial to us, and when does anxiety create a distress. What is anxiety? Anxiety is the feeling of an intense discomfort that is a result of our inner fears towards doing something. Sometimes anxiety is even labeled as the avoidance. It's when we avoid doing the things we love or the things we aim to do, or even avoiding our goals because we're afraid to be judged. We are afraid to make fool of ourselves. But here's the thing, without anxiety, we cannot do anything in life because we tend to lose the motivation in fulfilling our dreams, fulfilling our purpose, and even going into adventures and meeting the deadlines. When does anxiety become our friend and when it is our enemy? Surprisingly enough, anxiety is a normal feeling we tend to have, and that's what creates that positive push for us to succeed, to excel, and to meet the unexpected. It's a very normal emotion that we tend to face. It's when we feel that our heartbeats are elevating, that blood is rushing through our veins, something is just shouting inside us and telling us, you can do it, just push it and go forward. That's called a positive and a friendly anxiety. However, when that emotion becomes distressful and pushes us to lay low, to lay back, and to stop and to avoid doing anything we like in life, or even to fulfill our dreams or pursue our goals, that's when we are suffering from anxiety disorder, and that anxiety becomes our enemy. When does anxiety manifest itself? Usually anxiety manifests itself in situations where we are going to be either tested, judged, examined, or to experience something new to our being, something new to our life. In other words, it's when we are facing a new challenge. For example, taking a test, meeting someone we love for the first time, getting into a job interview, or even getting into the gym, going into the theater, going out and doing a public speech. Anything that is new to us, anything that allows us or makes us to think twice and judge our capability of performing it well, that's when our anxiety bumps up. But that's good, because that anxiety would help us to achieve excellence, to put all our effort to achieve that goal, and pushes us forward and motivates us to continue forward. Never let that anxiety become your enemy and push you backward. One thing I learned in studying counseling is people who tend to avoid situations due to anxiety and fear, their anxiety increases. And that's because they are telling their own brain and mind that we are incapable of doing it, we are afraid of that situation, and that situation might crush us, which is not true, because every certain person has a certain capability to face any challenge. However, we need to have that mindset, that powerful, that warrior mindset that we need to go forward, face everything, challenge ourselves, and explore our personal growth. The way to benefit from anxiety is to be in control of it. We don't want the anxiety to be too low nor too high, because if the anxiety was too low or there was no anxiety at all, we will have no motivation to do anything. However, if our anxiety was extremely high, that's when we'll start avoiding challenging situations and put more distress on ourselves. It's the lies that our brain brings to us, because our brain is programmed to keep us in a safe, subtle situation. However, remember that we are the programmers of our brain and we are the writers of our life. So let's program our brains to face everything that we are afraid of, and let's write a better narrative and direct our life towards success, growth, and positive fame. Thinking neutrally of a certain situation helps us to control our anxiety levels, because most of the times we tend to perceive the difficulty of the situation or the danger more than its reality. Therefore, we need to put our fears into perspective and know wisely what things can we do and what things we cannot. And this requires self-knowledge. It requires that journey with ourselves to explore what can we do and what we cannot. And listen to this carefully. Anything that you believe you cannot do, challenge yourself on doing it. What are the symptoms of anxiety? Anxiety manifests itself in different symptoms: sweating, heart beating, nervousness, shaky hands, heart palpitation, loss of words, loss of memories, running away, breathing rapidly, hyperventilation, feeling weak or tired. Because if we are always anxious, this will negatively impact our biology. It will impact our brain and it will impact our body, and it will induce more weakness, more fear, which would crush us insidely and bans us from performing well in life and from achieving our goals. That's why when you see a person who's always nagging and blaming others for their own failure, know that these people are mainly suffering either from anxiety, panic, depression, and are afraid to face new challenges in life. And in order for them to make sense of what's happening to them, they project it on others and blame others for all their failures. However, it is their fault and not the world's fault. Anxiety always manifests itself in having trouble sleeping, in worrying most of the time, having the urge to avoid triggers of anxiety, troubling in concentrating, memory loss, thinking, not being in perspective. All these symptoms would negatively affect the way even we progress in life. It would affect the way we perform in our job, in our schools. It also affects our behavior with our friends. We're always negative. We're always worried. We see the world from a pessimistic point of view. And that's not really good. That's unhealthy. That will crush you. That will put you down. And what really happens, you would become your own enemy, in which if the world or your friends or your family are trying to lift you up, you will tend to attack them because you are anxious and you're afraid. And then what you are doing to yourself is losing an important opportunity of growth, of achieving your warrior mindset, and of achieving the successful mindset. What are the causes of anxiety? The causes of anxiety cannot be fully understood. However, anxiety is manifested as our own response towards certain events and situations in life. Anxiety can be inherited from our parents. It might be genetically induced in us. Another cause of anxiety can be the way we learned how to respond to certain events from our parents, figures of authority, families, friends. If we faced trauma without being able to process it well, or even without understanding what happened, any shock that we might face, any certain fear, or even false information that we might get from other people that we look up to. For example, if I look up towards my father, and my father is always afraid of performing things in life, and he's always anxious, I would learn that behavior from him and would think that the way he responds is the right way, and that's false. Another cause of anxiety that I don't really like is consuming lots of caffeine. If you're a coffee lover like I am, just control the caffeine intake. Avoid the sodas, avoid any stimulant drinks. There are many risk factors in life that would help in developing anxiety in us. Trauma during our childhood would continue to grow with us if we weren't able to process it in a good way. Even abuse, witnessing someone being abused, negligence, being in a war zone, living a very unstable life, that would also create anxiety because we are unable to process what's going on. That instability would trigger our mind to be always in the fight or flight perspective. Either we have to fight or we have to run away. And this would induce lots of negativity on the way we think, the way we behave, and the way we react to the world. Also, adults who experience traumatic events in life would develop anxieties. That's why one of the advice we give is, if you have faced any trauma, or if you were abused, neglected, or are always living in fear, seek a counselor, seek a professional, and get into that beautiful talk therapy to unlock the stressors and to get rid of them and to be in full control of your own thoughts, your own behavior, and the way you would respond in a positive and in a more powerful manner. Some people have anxiety due to their own personality. We don't know how. It's just their personality. It might be related to something called the object relationship, the way they relate to their authority figures and the way they understood life. And that's a wrong understanding. Another thing, if stress builds up in your life that would create anxiety because you are not being able to control the stressful situation and you are always living in that bombarding stressful situation. This feeling of stress, that intense stress, would result in you being anxious, in you being always in that negative, intense emotion that is putting you back, making you afraid, neurotic, running away, and not even knowing how to think in the right way to find the solution needed. Anxiety disorder sometimes runs in the family. And that's an important thing that you need to be aware of. That's why we always ask our clients during the sessions, what is the medical history of your family? Does anyone in your family has anxiety? Or do they have depression or any sense of panic attacks? Because knowing these family history and these internal factors of the family system would help us learn if our client or if that person might develop anxiety or might even have anxiety without knowing. Because most of the times we tend to behave in a very weird way. We're always afraid. We're always shutting ourselves down, talking negatively to ourselves without knowing the real reason. And one of the main reasons are we might have anxiety, and the only way to run away from that intense and distressful situation is to act in that weird and fearful way. One of the most devastating risk factors that would induce and create anxiety are drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol are not a solution. They will never be a solution to your problems, and they will never be a solution to your anxiety or depression. The more you induce and take and consume drugs and alcohol, the more anxious you become. That's why, in order to overcome your problems and anxieties, seek something positive in life. Anxiety creates many complications. It's not just the way we feel or behave. It has a physical complication on our body, it has a mental complication, and it also has a spiritual complication. It compromises our three components: the body, the mind, and the spirit. Anxiety would result in social isolation. You will start withdrawing from your friends, from your families, from your community. You'll be isolated. You will start even losing friends and unable to make friends because you will be having these negative thoughts that I cannot make friends, I don't look good enough, and I'm not good enough for them. That's why you will start negatively judging yourself and putting yourself low and hiding yourself. Anxiety might also force you to live a poor life because you are afraid to seek opportunities. You are always afraid to seek growth, which would result in your inability to notice what is helpful to you in life and to start rejecting advice and rejecting help from other people. Anxiety also leads to suicide. Lots of the suicides that are happening in the world, especially with the teenagers and the young adults, are a result of anxiety. It is that false belief that I cannot excel in life. I don't know what to do in life. I have no power, no financial means. The society is against me. The whole world is against me. Honestly, no one is against you. You are only against yourself. You become your own worst enemy when you are having that mindset, when you are allowing that anxiety to control you and to overcome all your potentials in life. Put on that warrior mindset. Be that beast that can control their own negativity, their own shadows, and transform that weakness, these threats, into strengths and opportunities. And that's an important way you can see the world through, by believing in yourself, by knowing what you can do, by knowing that you are the masterpiece that God created, by knowing that you are always loved, you are saved, and you are supported. My advice to you today: believe in yourself. Believe in your own capabilities and potential. Never be afraid to move forward. Have that strength, that courage of exploring the life, of exploring the world, and even of exploring your own self. Have that courage to enter into that journey towards succeeding, towards telling your thoughts, telling your mind, no, enough, stop. I am worthy, I am capable, I'm strong, I can do everything I want to do wisely because I know who I am. Put on that warrior and beast mindset. Fight, win, and conquer. That's what you need to do. And the first fight that should occur is in your mind. You need to fight with your negative thoughts. Conquer your mind and win. This is the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It is the time for the exercise. When you're feeling anxious, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale for 5 seconds. Hold your breath inside for 3 seconds and exhale for 7 seconds and start the inner positive self-talk. Tell your own thoughts that I am capable of doing what I want to do, and I'll be able to conquer what I want to conquer, and I will win at the end. And even if I failed, I will learn from what I have failed from. This positive mindset would help you. That exercise is always useful in all the stressful and anxious situations. Just breathe in, hold it, breathe out, and talk positively to yourself. Remember, fight, conquer, and win. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, follow me on social media, and remember, let us inspirit humanity.